And Zacchaeus, who has now become a wedge, a catapult, a battering ram, butts and bumps against people, insinuates himself, delivering and receiving punches on the nose, thrusts with elbows in the stomach, and kicks in the shin. But he pushes his way through and moves forward. He is now at the opposite side, but the square narrows here, and he meets the impenetrable wall again. He is only a few steps from Jesus, who is already standing near his house. But if deserts and rivers separated him from it, he could have better hopes to succeed in reaching him. He gets angry, and he shouts in a commanding voice, "I have to go home. Let me pass. Can't you see that he wants to go into my house?" He should never have said so. That rekindles the wishes of the people to have the master in other houses. Some people laugh, making fun of poor Zacchaeus. Some give him rude answers. There is not one person who feels sorry for him. On the contrary, they begin to shout and get excited so that the master may not hear or see Zacchaeus. And some shout, "You've already had even too much from him, you old sinner." I think that the memory of old tax collections and vexations influences so much ill will. Even the man who is more inclined to the supernatural almost always has a little corner in which the love for his hoard is lively, and even more lively is the memory of whoever has been detrimental to that hoard. But the time for Zacchaeus' trial has passed, and Jesus rewards his perseverance. Jesus shouts at the top of his voice, "Zacchaeus, come to me. Let him pass, because I want to go into his house." It is absolutely necessary to obey. The people press against one another in order to open out, and Zacchaeus comes forward, flushed with fatigue and blushing for joy, and he tries to tidy his ruffled hair, his unbuttoned garment, and his belt, the tassels of which are around his back instead of being in front of him. He looks for his mantle. Who knows where it is? It does not matter. He is by now in front of Jesus, stooping to pay his respects to him. It is impossible for him to do more than that, as he has hardly enough room to bend a little. "Peace to you, Zacchaeus. Come here, that I may give you the kiss of peace. You deserve it," says Jesus, smiling, a really cheerful, juvenile smile that makes him look rejuvenated. "Oh yes, Lord, I did deserve it. How difficult it is to reach you, Lord," says Zacchaeus, raising himself up as much as possible on the tips of his toes to be at the level of Jesus, who bends to kiss him. As he does so, his face appears to be bleeding because of a scratch on his right cheek, and one of his eyes is bruised, probably because of the thrust of an elbow on his eye socket. Jesus kisses him and then says, "But I'm not rewarding you for this effort, but for the others you have made, unknown to many people, but known to me. Yes, it is true. It is difficult to reach me, and the crowd is not the only obstacle. And it is not even the most difficult obstacle one finds to meet me. But, O people, who have almost carried me shoulder high, the most difficult, the most composed obstacle, and which is always recomposed after one tries to destroy it or overcome it, is one's ego. I did not seem to be seeing, but I saw everything, and I evaluated everything. And what did I see? I saw a converted sinner, one who was hard-hearted, who loved comfort, was proud, vain, lascivious and avaricious. And I saw him divest himself of his old ego also in minor matters, and change in his behaviour and affections, in order to come to his Saviour, as he did by struggling to reach him, by imploring with humbleness, by accepting jibes and reproaches patiently, suffering in his body to be knocked about by the crowd, and in his heart to be pushed to the very end of it, without even one glance from me.